I was having y'all, your boy Rico from RicoScores, and the Washington Commanders officially have the #2 overall pick of the 2024 NFL draft, which is going down very soon. Actually, we will be drafting as of April 25th, submitting that second overall pick, or maybe end up being another pick, but we know something is going to happen dealing with that second overall pick at the very latest. April 25th, mark your calendars, and that's going to be in Detroit. But either way, we got to talk about this pick. Of course, I'm going to give y'all our entire draft class worth of picks. So where is our pick in the first round? Where are our 2 picks in the second round, 2 picks in the third, so on and so forth all the way through. I'm going to update y'all on that. Also, we're going to take a look at a lot of mock drafts that are going around right now. Is Drake Maye the obvious pick for us to make at #2 overall? Is there any chance that we may trade up to #1 overall to try to get maybe like a Caleb Williams? Or is there a chance that Caleb Williams may actually fall to us #2 overall? We're going to take a look at a lot of these mock drafts, and I also want to take a look at the history of #2 overall picks in previous years of other NFL drafts. Let's take a look to see how often they hit. Because just because you have the #2 overall pick doesn't automatically mean you're going to get a great player. A lot of teams have missed, including us on one of them, kinda. So before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content because I have so much content coming out, man. My computer is full of windows and tabs and all kinds of information I have, so stay tuned because I need to get this off. Like literally, we're about to get to the point where I'm putting out like 2 videos a day as like a requirement. I like have to do it. I got to get these videos off, man. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm also working on exclusive footage for my channel members only, but I'm working on a video on some interesting background information that John Com did a deep dive into how Josh Harris wants to build the Commanders, and basically taken from the history of what he's done for his previous organizations in the hockey and the NBA and stuff like that, and also things that he has said since he's been the Commanders owner and what he plans on doing with the team as far as GM, head coach, acquiring great players in free agency, all of that type of stuff. I'm working on a video on the top quarterbacks available in this draft and the strengths and weaknesses to each of them and which one I prefer. Of course, I'm doing a GM candidates video. I'm doing a head coaching candidates video, offensive coordinator candidates, defensive coordinator candidates video. Also, a report that Josh Harris wants to build this team after the way the Ravens got what they got going on. We're going to take a deep dive into that. We're going to take I'm working on a mock draft. Marcus Spears out here saying the Commanders should trade this #2 overall pick that we have right now for Justin Fields. I'm going to do a video on why that's a terrible idea, but also maybe you want to think about it a little bit. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. But let's go ahead and get to this video. Well, man, let's go ahead and do it. Let's get it. Yes, sir. So because of strength of schedule, we win the tiebreaker between us, the New England Patriots, and the Arizona Cardinals. Because we have the weaker strength of schedule, we have the second overall pick, even though the Cardinals have the same exact record as us, 4-13, and have the 4th overall pick. That's how much of a difference strength of schedule makes. Just for those of y'all that don't know, even though we beat the Patriots and we have the same record, they technically consider us the worst team because of strength of schedule, because they look at it as basically you have the same amount of wins as this team that you're being compared to, but that team played a tougher schedule, you played a weaker schedule, and you still have the same amount of wins. That must mean you suck more, basically. And hey, I'll take it. Whatever it takes to get that second overall pick, I appreciate that. NFL, rather than giving it between like letting the tiebreaker be who beat who. Because often, more times than not, a lot of these teams don't play each other. I mean, we rarely play the Patriots. So maybe that's why they go with strength of schedule as a priority, and then maybe that's like the secondary or third tiebreaker or whatever. But the priority, the primary tiebreaker, is strength of schedule. That's why we're second. So right now, the Bears have the 1st overall pick because of that trade they did with the Carolina Panthers, so the Carolina Panthers could get Bryce Young, and we see how that's working out for them. And CJ Stroud going 2nd overall to the Texans is crazy. Speaking of 2nd overall picks, we're going to dive into that when we get to the history of the 2nd overall pick. I'm super excited. But let's see, man. Again, We're second, Patriots third, Cardinals fourth, Chargers fifth, Giants sixth, even after the way they just whooped up on the Eagles, man. Shouts out to the Giants for that one, man. Send them Eagles crying into the playoffs. See if they can recover. They just lost to the Cardinals, who have the 4th overall pick, and the Giants, who have the 6th overall pick in back-to-back games. The Eagles are not looking good right now. That's crazy. Titans 7th. Even after beating the Jaguars and ruining their playoff chances, but also vaulting the Steelers into the playoffs, I think, because of that Jaguars loss. A lot happened because the Jaguars lost. That affected 3 different teams. So shouts out to the Titans for making the AFC really interesting. Also, the Falcons, shouts out to them because them losing to the Saints made our strength of schedule look worse and the Patriots' strength of schedule look a little bit tougher, which helped us get that 2nd overall pick over the Patriots for that strength of schedule tiebreaker. So shouts out to the Falcons for losing today. We needed that, man. Hey, man, Falcons fans, I know I hate the Falcons more than any team in the NFL, but I really appreciate y'all for losing today, man. You don't understand. I'm eternally grateful for what y'all put out there today, because they were winning at one point, and I was scared. Then the Saints, you would never think that game was close the way that final score looked. Thank you. Shouts out to the Saints, man. And then the Chicago Bears are 9th, so the Chicago Bears have 2 top 9 picks. Let's not forget that. Then you have the Jets 10th, Minnesota Vikings 11th, Denver Broncos 12, Las Vegas Raiders 13, Saints 14, Colts 15, Seahawks 16, Jaguars 17th, and the Bengals 18th. And that's sad too, because the Bengals and Jaguars, Seattle Seahawks, and the Colts and the Saints all have positive records, 9-8. No playoffs. That's terrible, but this is just a highly competitive year, man. Very highly competitive. And then after that, we got to see based on who loses and wins and playoff rounds and wild card and stuff like that. But as of right now, we have the 2nd overall pick, and that's all that matters. But something else that matters, where are our other picks? Because us getting a higher 1st round pick also means we get higher 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks. So that's why, a lot of people think, yeah, when you want a higher 1st round pick, that's all that matters. No, this affects all kinds of other picks, because we were just a couple of picks away from getting Brian Branch. And maybe with one less win last year, maybe we have Brian Branch, even though Quan Martin, salute to him. Before he got hurt in this game against the Cowboys, he was balling. He looks like a great pick. I'm very happy. I mocked us getting him, so I'm happy that I also look right in a way that Quan Martin starting to finally show something and develop. I don't know what's going on with Emmanuel Forbes, but Quan Martin looks like a steal in the 2nd round potentially. But either way, same point stands. Brian Branch, we clearly wanted him. He went 2 picks before us. If we just had one less loss, and we would have had Brian Branch in the 2nd round. Or if maybe we had a couple of less losses, we were able to move up just a little bit more. Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera said that they really wanted to trade up for an elite interior offensive lineman. And because our draft pick in the 2nd round, not the 1st round doesn't even matter. This is already passed. Because our 2nd round pick was so late in the 2nd round, so far in the middle, nobody was willing to trade back with us, and which is why we couldn't get into an elite interior offensive lineman. And one of the main reasons why Sam Howell had a bad season this year, and why we're going to replace him in this draft. We're going to do it. We should just go ahead and get this out the way. Doesn't matter if you want Sam Howell to be our franchise quarterback or not. This debate no longer matters. The next regime is taking a quarterback. A new regime takes a quarterback, point blank, period. But this is not even just a new regime. This is a new era. This is a new everything. This is the biggest clean sweep in burgundy and gold history since at least I've been alive. I wasn't alive to see us win any of the Super Bowls. And since I've been alive, this whole Dan Snyder situation, we've never just had a complete start all the way over. Literally expansion team level stuff. We're taking a quarterback. A new regime takes a new quarterback regardless. New GM, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, all of that. But to start all the way over, the only thing that's not different is basically the owners, and they've only been here for a year. I wouldn't be surprised if we replace everybody, including the Water Boys. We're starting all the way over. Literally an expansion team. So go ahead and get it out of your head. Stop having debates with people about whether we should or should not keep Sam Howell, because at this point we're having a pointless debate. Maybe it's still fun, but it's really no point. We're taking quarterback regardless, unless somehow Eugene Shin, who likes to trade back, convinces everybody else in the organization that we need to prioritize trading back and give Sam Howell another go. Other than that, there's no way we're taking anything but quarterback. If anything, we're more likely to trade up to the number 1 overall pick than to trade back from that number 2 overall pick. I would love to get Brock Bowers, but we're going quarterback. It doesn't matter. The only debate we should be having right now is which quarterback we're taking. Not whether we're taking quarterback or not. No, which quarterback. That's it. That's literally it. So let's move on from there. But again, my main point is that having a higher second round pick is better. Having a higher third round pick is better. All of that stuff matters, man. When you look at the draft trade value chart, all of that type of stuff, the higher your draft pick, the more value it has to make moves, whatever. If you want to trade up, trade back, whatever, you get more value in return for having higher draft picks in every round, not just the first. Now, it compounds. It exponentializes basically once you move into the first round compared to other rounds, but it still matters more. Us having the 36th overall pick in the second round is far more valuable than us having the 50th overall pick in the second round. It's an immense, ridiculous difference. So let's go ahead and get to it. Second overall pick in the first round, 36th and 40th overall picks in the second round. So we have 3 top 40 picks. We picked 3 times before there are 41 picks in the draft. I'm super excited. 67th pick in the third round, 100th pick in the fourth round. Because of that compensatory pick, we traded away Chase Young from to the 49ers to get that pick. That pick was never going to change. That's just going to be a dead last third round compensatory pick no matter what it seems like. Then fourth round, 102nd overall. 5th round, 137th overall. 6th round, 180th overall. And 7th round, 219th overall. And this literally changes everything. Like when it comes to mock drafts and stuff like this, us having these higher draft picks matter. I mean, I do mock drafts and the player I really, really want just gets picked within 5 picks before my pick. Sometimes even the pick right before me. I know y'all see it. I know y'all experience it. Man, I'm telling y'all, having those higher draft picks matters. I'm super excited. 3 top 40 picks. 4 top 67 picks, 5 top 100 picks is huge. 6 top 102 picks is crazy. A new GM, new regime, new head coach, all of that can come in here and make an immediate impact on this team. Especially, I already did a whole over 30-minute breakdown about how we have the most cap space in the NFL and how we can get more. So us having the most cap space in the NFL and how we can get more and having the number 2 overall pick and 3 top 40 picks is a way for a new regime to come in and make their impact felt immediately, which is why I feel like we are a very attractive destination for a great GM, a great head coach, because they can come in and immediately change what's going on. You see how the Texans went from 2nd overall pick, which we have now, to elite team. Like, I mean, they just won their division. They're in the playoffs. They are a division winner. They have home field advantage in the wild card right now. And they just had the 2nd overall pick just last year. Remember the 49ers had the 2nd overall pick. They took Nick Bosa and that whole thing turned around, and they've been a force since then. Now, there are other teams that have had 2nd overall picks and it hasn't become that, but I'm just saying 2nd overall picks can lead to greatness, and you can turn things around within just one offseason. It doesn't have to take 3-4 years. It can. It has for some teams, but it doesn't have to. The Texans just showed you that if you get the right offensive coordinator, you hire the right coach, you get the right situation in the front office as far as team building, personnel building, making the right decisions for agency and draft, you could turn this thing right around, especially with a quarterback. If you take the right quarterback, them getting CJ Stroud instead of Bryce Young, woo-wee, man. Also, now let's look. Speaking of the history of the 2nd overall pick, speaking of CJ Stroud, let's look at what that 2nd overall pick can do for people. Aiden Hutchinson. 2022 was big time. Of course, we already skipped CJ Stroud because we know what he's doing for the Texans. I mean, if he wasn't hurt, man, they would probably have an even better record than what they had, and they would probably be an even higher seed as well. Then you have Aiden Hutchinson with the Lions. Then you go back to Zach Wilson with the Jets. That's not good at all. That's terrible. I hope we don't make a mistake like that. Chase Young in 2020 to the Washington football team. I mean, ultimately that pick was terrible. Yes. But he has shown potential at times. And even before we traded him, he showed potential. But then I look stupid saying that because since he's been on the 49ers, he's been non-existent. He was better for us this year than he has been for the 49ers. Speaking of the 49ers, Nick Bosa the year before, 2019. Saquon Barkley to the Giants, 2018. Other than injuries and just them not being able to put a great team around him in general, I mean, that pick wasn't necessarily that bad, but I mean, taking a running back 2nd overall, hearing that right now sounds crazy. Mitchell Trubisky for the Bears, not a good idea. Carson Wentz for the Eagles, kind of worked out. They got a Super Bowl out of it because he led them all the way to the playoffs, and then Nick Foles did the rest, and then he had some pretty good seasons. So that's kind of like, Marcus Mariota for the Titans did not work out, but I more so blame the fact that they didn't take the time to build the right offense around him. I don't feel like we'll have that problem. Greg Robinson from the Rams, remember they got that pick from us in that RG3 trade. That worked out terribly. Luke Jokel for the Jaguars, I mean, Robert Griffin for the Redskins. I mean, we had one great season. It was really fun. That was arguably the best season since I've been alive. Again, I wasn't here for the Super Bowls, so I'm eternally grateful for that 2012 season. That's the best burgundy and gold season I've ever seen. The most exciting, the most I could talk trash to other teams. Sucks how that ended. Von Miller for the Broncos. That was a great pick. Ndamukong Suh for the Lions, other than off the field issue, well, really on the field issues, stepping on people and stuff. You know, that was still technically kind of a great pick. Jason Smith for the Rams, Chris Long for the Rams, Calvin Johnson for the Lions back in 2007. Jared Gaither for the Ravens, Reggie Bush for the Saints. I mean, that should have worked out. He was so electric in college. It was crazy that he didn't work out. Ronnie Brown for the Dolphins, Robert Gallery for the Raiders, Charles Rogers for the Lions, Julius Peppers for the Panthers. Golly, the Lions have had the second overall pick far more often than they should. 2003, then again 2007, and then 2010. It's not working. Y'all are, it's not working for y'all, but now look at them. Now they're good. That's crazy. They got another second overall pick in 2022, but this time they figured it out. The Lions' second overall pick history is crazy. They're taking up like a third of the list themselves. But then get Julius Peppers back in 2002. That worked out very well for them. Leonard Davis for the Cardinals. And then going all the way back to 2000, LeVar Arrington for the Redskins. I feel like that worked out pretty well for us as well. I'm not sure number 2 overall pick well, but that worked out very well for us. I love LeVar Arrington and what he did for us. So there's the history of the number 2 overall pick. Mixed results there. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's just an automatic you can't miss situation. And when you're looking at a lot of these quarterbacks that we may potentially pick between Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels, they all have their advantages, but they all also have some red flags and some weaknesses and some things where it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like any of these quarterbacks are can't miss. There's certain situations with all of them where I feel like if you put them in the right offense, get them the right offensive coordinator, right head coach, you design the offense around them, you give them the right offensive line and weapons. I feel like I can see scenarios where all 3 of these guys could be elite quarterbacks, top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL, top 10 even. But I also see some certain red flags where if you don't build around them the right way, if you don't do things right by them, I can see any of these 3 guys, all 3 of these guys not working out. So it's scary. It's scary because number 2 overall pick does not mean automatic banger, automatic lock, safe pick. You're getting the right guy. But a lot of people have done great things with number 2 overall picks. Most notably and most recently, the Texans taking CJ Stroud. If we're just gonna have recency bias here, look at that example. Going from number 2 overall pick to making the playoffs, winning your division is a model offseason right there. New regime, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. Can we do that? Can we literally copy and paste what the Texans just did this past offseason and regular season? Please. Now let's take a look at some mock drafts and what everybody has us picking. You have the Draft Network, Drake May. They said getting benched for Jacoby Brissett is not a good omen of things to come for quarterback Sam Howell. The Commanders dip back into the Tar Heel pipeline and find their next potential QB of the future. Drake May brings prototypical height for the position paired with mobility and great arm talent. May will have multiple weapons at his disposal for the first time in his NFL career. That's a good point. That's coming from the Draft Network. Then you have Tankathon themselves, where I get all of my information as far as what pick we have and like all the updates I was giving y'all throughout the season. They have us picking Drake May as well. Then you go to Pro Football Focus. They have us taking Drake May as well, number 2 overall. And they said big changes are coming to the Commanders front office and coaching staff when the regular season comes to a close. With new ownership now in place, it seems likely the franchise will completely turn the page. It will be even easier to do so if the Commanders beat out the Patriots for the number 2 overall pick, which we did. Where the easy choice is whoever available between Caleb Williams or Drake May, with either being a franchise quarterback to invest in. So they're like, you can't miss. Number 2 overall pick, you're going to get an elite quarterback, franchise quarterback that can turn this thing around for you and basically do what CJ Stroud did for the Texans. They believe, Pro Football Focus feels like Caleb Williams and Drake May, you can believe that they will be able to do that as well. Then you have Yahoo Sports. They have the Chicago Bears taking Marvin Harrison first overall, and then we still take Drake May. Caleb Williams is available and they still have us taking Drake May. That's interesting. I know a lot of people do prefer Drake May over Caleb Williams. Some people see Caleb Williams as just a no-go, just off the field and personality-wise. It's really interesting. And then Bleacher Report has us also taking Drake May as well. Most of these big-time websites, these sports, football, NFL draft analyst websites have us taking Drake May. And it's a mix of because of who Drake May is, also where we're picking and assuming that Caleb Williams will probably be gone for most of them. But then you have other situations where DraftWire has Jaden Daniels going #1 overall, and honestly, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if the Chicago Bears basically want to get another guy that could potentially do what Justin Fields does, but better, maybe healthier, maybe, arguably. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is just automatically going to be a better version of Justin Fields, but if you want to, and especially with the season he had in the SEC, winning the Heisman, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes crazy at the Combine and during his LSU Pro Day and stuff like that, I would not be entirely shocked if he goes #1 overall. I think any of these three quarterbacks could go #1 overall, #2, any order of the top three. But so now they have Caleb Williams falling to #2, and they have us taking Caleb Williams. That's DraftWire. Then CBS Sports has the Chicago Bears taking Marvin Harrison #1, and then us getting Caleb Williams #2 because he's available. And then on 3, Pro Talk has a draft trade. They have us trading up to #1 to get Caleb Williams from the Chicago Bears. And so basically what I'm seeing is, take Caleb Williams if you can. If not, take Drake May. If Caleb Williams is available at your pick #2, or if you're able to trade up, get him. If not, Drake May is a great consolation prize. That's basically what I'm getting from a lot of these places. Again, I'm a film watcher. I'm a guy that needs to develop my own opinion. I don't feel like I've watched enough Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, or any of these guys, Michael Penix, to formulate a full, developed and detailed opinion on who I feel like is the best between the three, who's the second best and stuff like that, to truly rank them. Right now, my feeling is Caleb Williams #1. I'm kind of more of a Jaden Daniels #2 guy and Drake May #3, but I have so much more tape to watch, and that's why I'm waiting to do my video. I'm doing a video. It's probably going to run for like an hour long, breaking down all of the top quarterbacks and why we should take each one of them and why we should not take each one of them. Strengths, weaknesses, all of that type of stuff. So give me some time to formulate my opinion. But right now, according to the national media, it seems like Caleb Williams is the best quarterback, and if we can get him, go get him however you can. But if you can't, if Caleb Williams is gone by the time you're picking #2 overall, take Drake May. Don't trade back. Don't do nothing. Take Drake May because he's great as well. That's basically what I'm getting from these national media analysts. Again, that's not my words. I still want to watch more tape to be able to formulate my own opinion. And then I wanted to also remind you that if you're thinking about trading up to #1 overall pick, I doubt the Bears want to do it. But if there's anybody that's willing to do it, it's Josh Harris. Remember, he traded up to the #1 overall pick to get Markelle Fultz. This is the same guy that is very active when it comes to trades. I mean, this whole James Harden situation with the 76ers, he was that. Remember the trade deadline for the NBA? It was crazy active, and the Sixers made probably the biggest blockbuster trade. But then within less than 24 hours, he traded away Montez Sweat as well. Like, Josh Harris gets busy. He's not afraid to make moves that he feels like helps his team, as far as the near future, the far long term, whatever it takes to make his team better, he's willing to do it. He's not scared. That's one thing about Josh Harris. He's not scared. So if there were any team that could potentially trade up to #1 to get Caleb Williams, it's us. Again, I think the Bears won't do it because I think the Bears will just go quarterback. But if the Bears don't go quarterback, what better than to only move back one spot to still get the guy you really want and to still also gain some draft capital to get the guy that you were going to get anyway, if they're not going quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I think if the Bears are willing to trade back, I feel like we're the best candidate to do it with. I feel like we would have to give up less than most other teams, and they would just literally net positive some additional draft capital to get the same guy they were going to get anyway. Also, before we get up out of here, Ron Rivera said he's meeting with Josh Harris tomorrow, and I kind of feel sorry for him, even though most of this is definitely your fault. This butt whooping he just took today, and him already knowing that he's about to get fired. Today's his birthday. January 7th is his birthday, so this is crazy. This man's about to get fired the day after his birthday. Honestly, if I were him, I wouldn't even driven from Virginia through DC traffic into Maryland traffic just to get whooped. So I have to drive all the way back down all on my birthday knowing I'm about to get fired. I don't even know why he pulled up. I have no idea why he pulled up to the game. If I were Ron Rivera, I would have stayed in Virginia with my family, celebrated my birthday, and would have just been chilling. I already know I'm gone. I'm good. We heard a report from trustworthy sources like a month ago that he was already at peace with this firing. Why are you here? What do you have to gain, man? You should have just stayed. If I were you, I would have stayed home. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, man. We did it. Number 2 overall pick. Let me know how you feel about that number 2 overall pick. Even if you were the type of person that was still rooting for us to win games and go out swinging and things like that, especially for a lot of y'all that the Cowboys haters. I understand y'all live in the DMV area, so you got to deal with them and stuff like that. But now that it's over and there's no more games to win, how do you feel about having this number 2 overall pick? Are you calm now? It's already done. Are you happy? And of course, for those of y'all that were rooting for the number 2 overall pick, how much furniture did you mess up today celebrating the fact that we landed that number 2 overall pick with a new GM, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, new front office, new entirely different coaching staff, and potentially $90 million in cap space, the most in the NFL, and you can easily go get more if you want to, for real, for real. How optimistic are you about this offseason? This is the most optimistic I've ever been for a Breaking Eagle offseason since I've been alive. I'm so excited. Y'all are gonna feel it and see it and hear it and all of that through my videos, and I have so many video ideas. Again, I'm gonna have to like do 2 a day at a certain point. Like as of like 2-3 days from now, it's about to be 2 videos a day, live streams, everything, because there's so much to talk about, so many things I got to get off my chest and explore and have fun discussing and doing research, stats, all of that stuff. So stay tuned, man. I appreciate y'all. We did it, man. Number 2 overall pick, here we come. Great GM, here we come, because us having the number 2 overall pick makes a better GM more likely to come to us, because you can come in here and have an immediate impact. I'm so excited. So many videos I'm working on. Stay tuned. Appreciate all y'all that pulled up to the stream, left, like, donate, all of that, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. More live streams on the way, though, I promise. Catch y'all later. I'm out.